Okay, welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here, Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. Here with my co-host, Jason Vincent. And Jason, I want to thank you again for being here today to share some of the results yesterday from the Olympics. And I know we have Ms. Ramirez who will give a little info on that. But you guys out there, we want to tell you guys that we have been trying to share whatever amateur information we can here in the West Coast, just to keep you up to date of what's the latest with the amateur fighters. We have to go out there and reach out. You know, one thing about helping people is something that I feel we have to do. It's something that some people just say, no, I'm not going to do it unless I get paid for it or whatever. Jason, you know, boxing to us is in our DNA. If I go for a blood test right now, you might going to find it.
I was going to say KO or TKO in your blood work right there.
But I'll tell you that I'm honored to, again, to have you here with us today to share, again what we have in our memory bank in reference to the amateur boxing. We want to talk to some of our friends out there listening that don't know the protocol, what it takes to start from the from the baby steps, going up the ranks. Learn how do you get to the amateur level, then what goes from there. If you tell us a little bit about being that you have already been involved with the amateur, you're involved with them right now, what are the baby steps they got to take now to get to the level where they can compete in the Olympics? Other tournaments.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not as hard as it seems, and it's not so as easy as it seems either, if that makes sense. But you know, if you're out at a gym, whether it's a sanctioned USA boxing gym or not, or a mixed martial arts gym, and you're boxing and all that, and you and your coach think you're ready to start competing, you're at that level. You know, you pass all the drills and the bag work and the focus pads and the mitts, and you got your sparring in, and they think that you're ready to compete. It's at that point in time, you and also your coach, your trainer, can go on the USA Boxing website, and for the athlete or the boxer, you'll go to the icon once you get on and log on and all that. You go to the icon that says athlete, and your coach will go to the icon that says coach. And it'll walk you through step by step what you guys need to do to become USA Boxing members is the first thing. And then after that, to become an athlete or a coach or even an official, a referee, a judge, and all that. So, you know, it's in the beginning, it's not time consuming, but it's going to take a little bit of work. But once you got everything in and you've passed your background checks and the athlete's got the physical, and you got to go get some passport pictures taken at like a CVS or a Walgreens, and you send that all your information into a registration chair person and your local LBC, your local boxing committee. They will make you a passbook, and then they will mail it back to you. And then once you got your passbook, your coach, your official, or boxer and athlete, then you're able to start going to USA Boxing sanctioned events and competing.
Exactly. You know, it's a little bit different today than it was when I was competing in the amateurs back when I was a teenager.
You didn't have the internet back then to get on there and do your passbooks, right?
I mean, you know, we had back in those days where everything was difficult. But today, you know, thank God that we have with modern day technology. We got so much information we can pass on from all over the world. There's so much going on that we didn't know about before.
Correct.
I mean, before you send a friend a letter to the United Kingdom, it took about 2 or 3 weeks to get there. Now you're on your computer, you're instantly on. I mean, it's amazing how we can get so much information out there. That's why I wanted you to get out here and share some of that information with our viewers, because a lot of parents or trainers, or even fighters themselves, don't know where to start. And this is listening to Jason gives you a little head start of how we did it. Back in the day when I was fighting, it was different. We didn't wear any shirts, and we didn't wear any headgear. It was, you know, the gloves.
Stone Age, right?
Well, back in the 60s, you know, the gloves were smaller.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was the testing that they used to do for you, the physical test, making sure you were properly fit, that they used to do. But now today they do the CAT scan, you know, MRI. There's a lot of, especially if you get knocked out, you know, there's a lot of things that we didn't do back then that they're doing now for the betterment of the sport and for the safety of the fighters.
Correct. You know, health is wealth, and obviously we've come a long ways as far as being able to become a member of USA Boxing, which is obviously the United States sanctioning body. We have people over competing right now in the Tokyo Olympics over there that represent USA Boxing. We also have some officials. We got Angel Villarreal and Bo Campbell and high-level USA Boxing and AIBA officials that are over refereeing and judging the fights over in Tokyo, Japan.
Talking about Tokyo, Japan, you have the young lady from here from Nevada, Ms. Ramirez. Tell us a little bit about what happened with her fight last night.
Yeah, I've been on here a few times. We have a local girl, Cuban descent, local girl, Yaricel Ramirez, coached by her dad, Rafael Ramirez. She's a local boxer out here. She was a high-level amateur. She won medals all the way up into the Pan American Games. She won a bronze medal in 2019 in Lima, Peru. And she's had a decorated, I won't go through all the accolades, she had a highly decorated amateur career. She made it over to Japan as an alternate, and the person that was number one, something happened, didn't work out. So Miss Ramirez stepped in. She had accumulated enough points in a national competition, an AIBA competition, to earn that spot. And she had been out of boxing for a little while, obviously because of COVID, and she was going to school out here and all that. So they called her up. They got her in there. She got on weight. She had probably not as long as a fight camp or training camp as she would have liked to have to go to the Olympics. But nevertheless, we're proud of her. She went in, she bit down on her mouthpiece, sucked it up, went to Olympics, represented the United States, represented Las Vegas, Nevada, Barry's Boxing. She had her first bout yesterday in the round of 32. She fought a really tough girl from Croatia. The girl had about 6 inches of height on her, at least. It could have been more. It's hard to see. It was on TV. The girl from Croatia, tough fight, close fight, coin flip fight. The girl from Croatia got the first round on all the judges' scorecards. Miss Ramirez got the second round on all the judges' scorecards. And then the lady from Croatia edged her out in the third round. I thought, I'm biased, I guess. I thought Miss Ramirez did enough. The other girl seemed like she was holding a lot too, wasn't getting cautioned or warned, but she lost 2 rounds to 1 in the Olympics, opening round. Keep your head up. We love her. She's our inspiration. She's our local hero in town, and a local girl made good. We're going to get her right here, right in between us. When she gets home and gets comfortable, I talked to her dad, and we're going to interview her and ask her about her experience. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, well, in my book, she's still a champion.
Oh.
Because anybody that's walking out those 3 steps into the ring is a champion already.
Yes.
That's something that many individuals don't understand, that, it takes a lot of guts to get up there. And especially going to the Olympics with so many fans out there watching you, and you're competing at the high level. She had nothing to be ashamed of.
At all.
And she didn't get whipped. She lost a close decision. Okay, she competed in the Olympics. It's something not everybody can say. And she got to that level. Being an alternate, it takes a lot. And she did it. But she's young. She's only 21. And there's a lot of individuals that didn't make it in the Olympics became out to be great world champions.
Of course.
So she could be one of them as well.
I want to talk to her and see what her, obviously she's going to need some time to think about things and process everything. But, I'd like to know, there's a short turnaround on the Olympics because this one was pushed back a year. So the next Olympics is in 3 years. So when this one's over, she's only 21. She could still possibly make another run at the Olympics. Or, if she gets back with her and her family, like you said, promoters start talking to her, and she go pro and make a living at that, or she go back to school, whatever she wants to do. So I'm interested to see. But you guys listen, like Joe said, just to touch up on that, explaining about competing in front of people, whether there's 50 people in the audience or like when I competed, there was 1,500 or 2,000. It's like a life-changing, altering experience, and it's hard to explain. It's probably like equivalent to a woman trying to explain giving birth to a man. We're just not going to get it. But it changes you forever, and anybody that's interested in competing, and if you're healthy and your coaches think you're fit, man, challenge yourself and try it at least one time. It'll change your life forever, and you become part of the brotherhood or the sisterhood or the fraternity of people that have gone in there. And there's nowhere to hide when you're boxing.
Exactly.
There's nowhere to hide. You're totally exposed in front of everybody, and you really find out a lot about yourself.
Well, let me tell you one thing.
And it's awesome.
Let me tell you a little bit. When I was boxing back in the day, the finals, the championship fight were held at the Mecca of Boxing, Madison Square Garden, with 15,000 fans. That was unbelievable, unheard of these days, because now they only have them like in like in a ballroom for the finals and whatnot. It's not like it was back in the
Not
day.
in Madison Square Garden.
Because the New York Daily News used to sponsor the Golden Gloves, so they had the money to back it up to get you to rent out a place like Madison Square
And
Garden.
you guys were like on the front page of the sports page and stuff too. You know,
Yeah.
nowadays our boxers go to the Olympics or win Golden Gloves, and there's not really anything, you know, no press or not much press.
Well, we got to get the media out there to start putting that information. Even the young lady before the Olympics, she didn't get much press because first of all, she was an alternate.
Yeah.
And then second of all, the media is not really too much there for the amateurs. I mean, when they get to the championships, where they got a champion in the Olympics, now they like a champion come out like
Yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya, and they call him the Golden Boy because he got to go.
You got to go.
And he come back and he turned out to be a real Golden Boy because he proved himself.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do with these young folks. Now we got Fernando Vargas, former two-time junior middleweight champion. He has two sons that just competed last night in Mexico, and they both won by the KO.
Yeah. So Fernando Jr., who's 24 years old, I was able to judge a few of his fights when he was in the amateurs here. He's the oldest of the three brothers. Him and the middle child, the second son, Armando, competed yesterday in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico. Fernando won KO. I believe he's 5-0 now, and then Armando won KO. I believe he's 4-0, 3-0 or 4-0 now. So they're also managed. I was reading through it a little bit. They're also managed by Jorge Linares' old manager and Vasily Lomachenko's old manager too.
Well,
So
they're in good hands, you know, and having a father like
obviously their dad's coaching them and training them.
Yeah, their father coaching
Fernando
them.
Vargas.
I mean, Fernando Vargas was a hell of a fighter, and he's a good trainer as well, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with his children. They listen. It's going to be hard to be like the father. I mean, because you know, in most cases, father and sons, that normally the father is the one that really makes it big. But you never know. These kids today, with the training techniques that they have, with all the preparation, and with a guy like Fernando Vargas behind them, these kids can go places.
The sky's the limit for them. I mean, they're all big time athletes. They're all young, tough kids. They're very respectful, and they're just good young men. And that doesn't even count the youngest, the baby of the family, the baby boy, Emmy Vargas, who I believe is 18 now, might be turning 19, 18. And, you know, he had a very distinguished amateur career. I know him and Armando have well over 60, 70, 80 fights. I asked Yarosel Ramirez how many fights she had. She said somewhere over 70. She stopped counting a couple years ago. So that was our Olympian. But, yeah, you know, these guys are putting the work in. And like you said, they have, you know, a two-time world champ as a dad and a coach. Cornering them and coaching them, and they have all the connections and networking that he does, and the sky's the limit for these boys. I can't wait to see where they go.
You know, I tell you, back in the days when I got started in boxing, there was a fighter by the name of Gaspar Indian Ortega. And Gaspar Ortega came to New York, born and raised, 99th Street Park in Madison, where I grew up. And Gaspar Ortega moved there with his brother Felix, and they were, you know, just preliminary fighters coming out of Tijuana. One of the first Mexican fighters to fight in New York City. There were very few Hispanics, but Gaspar Ortega was one that came from Mexico, and he really started to showcase his style with his boxing technique of hit, don't get hit. But you know one thing about Gaspar Ortega, they used to call him the unlucky Indian, because Gaspar Indian Ortega was a guy that he would fight you, and there'd be split decisions. A lot of them went the other way.
He was on the opposite side.
And he was on the other side. But Gaspar Ortega had 176 professional fights.
That's amazing. That's just amazing. That's just a lot of fights, man. That's a lot of
fights. If you
fights.
guys look in BoxRec, you look Gaspar Ortega, and you'll see that in 1 year he had like 29 fights.
He was fighting every other week. Yeah, twice a month.
And they would fight sometimes. He would fight 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
If you look at the BoxRec, Gaspar Ortega, he has a son that just moved here this past year from Connecticut, Mike Ortega, who's a referee. And Mike Ortega was scheduled to do the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight the other day. He's a top-notch referee. I got him out here. I finally convinced him to make it, and he retired from his regular job with the city in Connecticut, and I believe it was New Haven. And now he's out here in Vegas, got himself a place. he's ready to go forward.
How does he like the weather out here? I bet he doesn't like shoveling snow and chipping ice off the windshield anymore.
And
But it's 110 outside. He might not like that either.
Yeah, he gets 110, 115 in Las Vegas. It's kind of tough. But Mike Ortega is adjusting. You got to get acclimated to the weather. Then we got another referee, Celestino Ruiz, who came from Chicago, another top young coming rising star as a referee. These guys, they're learning. Years ago, they learned to climb up the ladder. Now they're in the mecca of boxing.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas is like the mecca. I mean, this is where you get all the big fights.
Well, it's neat to see people put the work in the amateurs back, like you said, with Mike in Connecticut, and then move up into the pro game. You had mentioned he did how many title fights? 40?
He had about 40
40 title fights, and then he's kind of the big fish in his area, but then you get, Vegas calling to you, coming to recruit you to come out here to get the even bigger, better fights out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, well, Mike Ortega, when he was born, that night Gaspar Ortega beat Kid Gavilan in Hollywood. That's where Mike was born in Hollywood, California. And I remember him coming home. I used to change his diapers.
Right.
And here he is now. He's
your God?
He's my godson.
Godson, yeah.
And
Awesome,
I believe in paying it forward. His father helped me become a fighter,
Yeah.
and I help his son become a referee. So it's always been talking about.
His dad, Gaspar, was your coach.
Well, he was my mentor.
Your mentor, yeah.
He wanted to plant the seed in my head about becoming a fighter. And then in the amateurs, I had Johnny Markel. Then I had Freddie Brown. We used to train Roberto Duran and train Gaspar Ortega.
Yeah.
He used to train me in the pros when I turned pro. But I'll tell you.
Now, you met Gaspar in the neighborhood? It was just neighbor?
He moved right next door to me.
Oh,
building
okay.
next door. And that's
That changed your life forever. So that's the start of Joe Cortez's boxing career, is by having Gaspar Ortega come move right next to you.
Right next to me. And then the other thing was, when I decided to go to Puerto Rico to work in the hospitality business, so I started working at the El Conquistador Hotel, and worked my way up the rank to an executive assistant manager of the hotel. And that's where I met Pat Mashia. Well, Pat Mashia used to be my referee in the amateur. He happened to be a guest at the hotel. So if I never went to Puerto Rico to work there for those 8 years in the hospitality business, I would never become a referee.
See, that's amazing how those type of things happen, where Gaspar Ortega moves next to you, mentors you, you get into boxing, plants the seed, you become a boxer, highly decorated amateur boxer, you get into the pros, you go to the Army, get out, move back to New York, go to Puerto Rico to help manage and run a hotel down there. You meet one of your childhood referees or officials, and
who happens to be a guest at the
hotel. That's amazing.
Pat Mashia and his wife, Rosemary. I'll tell you, Pat Mashia passed away last year. May his soul rest in peace. It wasn't for Pat Mashia, I would have never been a referee.
That's amazing.
It was his idea. He's the one that planted the seed. He said, Joe, call Johnny Defoe. Now that you're back here in New York, I came back to New York in December of '76. I went there in '69. So I came back in '76, and that's when I started with the Police Athletic League, which is the same program that we have in Las Vegas.
The Powell Police Athletic League.
We have them all over the country. So I got involved with the Police Athletic League in New York, in the Bronx, and it was amazing meeting Johnny Defoe for the second time. Because Johnny Defoe went with a team of U.S. I represented the United States against Canada back in '61. I was undefeated, and I suffered my first defeat in Montreal after 31 straight wins. I lost a split decision to a French Canadian, Marcel Berfet. If you're watching, I want that comeback.
I want a rematch. I want the rematch. We can do it in the Masters division. We got a tournament coming up.
But anyway, so Johnny Defoe's the one that got me started with the amateur refereeing, and then next thing you know, a couple of months later, they got me in the Golden Gloves.
I see why you like helping people. A, it's in your nature, but B, it all adds up by the people that helped you. You were in the right place in the right time, and someone took time to help you. And I like how you like you say, you play it forward, and you the circle of life. You continue that that knowledge passing and pass the torch to Mike Ortega's and other people coming up.
Right. Well, you gotta pass it forward, because why not? What are we here for? We're not only here for ourselves. It's not about us anymore. It's about helping these young folks. Guys like yourself. Hopefully, I want to get you into the pros eventually as an official. And one of the things I always say, that if you don't pay it forward, something is wrong with you, because your heart got to be in the right place. I feel like, You know, like, I love everybody. I love people from all walks of life. I don't care even if they hate me. That's all right. I still love them. You know, life goes forward, you know. And no matter what happens in our life, sometimes things don't go the right way, but you know what? We gotta say, you know what? Forgive and forget, or just forget and just keep going forward.
Keep moving forward, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm proud of you, man. That's neat. Those are neat stories, and it's really neat to see how Joe Cortez story came out. You gotta do I know you had a documentary or something, but should make a movie about this guy. Maybe I could play him. I got my head shaved.
I'm talking about movies, man. I remember when I did several movies with one was the last one was Sylvester Stallone. We did the Rocky Balboa movie, and I played myself as a referee. I remember one of the lines that he used it. I love his line, and I use it once in a while myself. It's how hard you get hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep going forward. You know, and that's a nice line. I mean, that's true in life. How much can you take and get up and keep going forward? Now I've suffered that recently through COVID. I got knocked down, but I don't take the full count. I came back stronger. I'm back stronger, and I'm more lovable. I'm more caring. I understand life is really something very precious. You don't take life for granted, because some people may take it. You make a commitment in life, and sometimes you say to yourself, "I can't give up. I committed to something. I committed to the right things I want to do. And I promise." And the thing is helping the people out there, helping these young folks to get them on the right track. You know, because they got me on the right track. You got to pay it forward.
Yeah, well, you know, we're proud of you for doing that, and we do appreciate your help and very grateful. And you know, it doesn't matter if you're a young person or a middle-aged person or an elder statesman. We're all human. We all.
Are you talking about yourself?
I'm talking about myself, man.
I'm an elder statesman. I'm a young puppy.
A guy full of knowledge. The full of knowledge guy. But you know, we're all human, and we all have our little storms that we go through, and even where you're at in your point in time in life, COVID hit you, and you got knocked down, and like you said, it's now how hard do you get hit? You just get back up and let's keep rolling.
Keep on. Don't take the full count for nobody. I never did. Even when I couldn't make it, I thought a lot of people didn't think I was going to make it. I mean, I got people who were crying and just calling up the families, saying, you know, they thought I was gone because, you know, the way I sounded, I wasn't making any sense because the medications they had me on, and I lost 40 pounds. This man ain't gonna make it, you know, because they just felt like this is it. And everybody was dying. I would see bodies going by my bedroom when I was at the hospital, Mountain View. I would take off my hat again to the doctors and the nurses for a fine job that they did, taking care of all the patients there. And it's a very risky job because, you know, that COVID-19 is so contagious, and now the Delta that's out again. That's why I tell you, people out there, don't take it for granted. Let me tell you, get vaccinated, because if you catch anything, at least by being vaccinated, from what I understand, it's not going to be as tough. You know, you maybe get hospitalized, but you're not going to die as if you didn't get it vaccinated. So, you know, listen to the experts out there. They're the ones that are telling you what to do and what not to do. And a lot of you folks out there listening to these negative stories and putting all these bad thoughts in your head about getting vaccinated, is something going to go wrong with you. Listen, you know what? I'd rather get vaccinated than not get vaccinated. I did my vaccination after I got it, but you know what? Hopefully I don't catch it again, but if I do, it won't be as strong or as bad as it was the first time.
Well, nothing's 100%. Obviously, the vaccines aren't 100%, but by being vaccinated, obviously, if you listen to the doctors and the science and the scientists, you know, your symptoms are going to be asymptomatic or they're going to be mild. You know, at worst, you know, they're saying 99.5 of the people that are getting severely sick right now and that are passing away are unvaccinated people.
Yeah. So
that's 99.5. It's only, you know, the old 0.5 that are vaccinated that are doing it. So, you know, everybody to their own, but, you know, please, the sooner we can get to that herd immunity, the quicker we can kind of go on with our lives, take these masks off. I just went back to work the other day at Caesar's Palace, and they handed me a mask. Again, I'm a bartender there, and we're back to wearing masks at Caesar's Palace again, which I don't mind. I mean, it's extra protection, but trust me, I'm 115-degree weather bartending. I'd rather not wear a mask. It's too hot.
Do you wear your Speedo?
Underneath my shorts. Underneath.
He went by the poolside. You know, he went by the poolside. He said when he wears his Speedo,
Yeah.
he gets a better tip at the
You're
girls.
right. I mean, I take my shirt off. I mean, the cocktail waitresses are in bikinis, so hey. But no, I'm very grateful. I've been at Caesar's Palace 23 years bartending, so I'm very, very grateful, man.
Hey, very good. We're very, very proud of you for what you're doing, and you're keeping the boxing alive in the amateur level. And we're trying to share with you guys as much as we can. Every week we'll try to get something out there. You know, we have Manny Pacquiao who's fighting Earl Spence next month, and we had the.
Where's that at again, Joe?
That's going to be at the MGM Hotel.
At the MGM, okay.
Yeah. And we had the.
Are you gonna go to that one?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
You know, I do the instant replay.
Yeah.
For you guys that don't know, we have a new position with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and they asked me to join them, and I'm doing the instant replay. In other words, I have headphones on, the kind of monitor in front of me. I'm watching the fight, but if I see something that the referee might have missed, let's say the referee called a slip when it was actually came from a punch, and I put up a yellow light on the ring apron, and then what we do is the timekeeper on the other side of the ring, he puts the lights up, yellow light, just to notify that there's something wrong, something went wrong, so the referee calls time, then I go over to the referee and explain to him that he missed that punch. It was actually a punch, it was not a slip, or vice versa. So we made the correction right there. He doesn't question it. He goes by what I say, like they do in the NFL and in baseball and.
I represent hockey. I think NASCAR has. I mean, everybody.
So they do
Golf
this.
probably has it.
Yeah, so they do this in replay, which is good. So we're doing that, and I'm making the corrections, and it's something good. We want the right guy to win.
Now, are you going to go as a spectator for this one, or is your goal to go back and work with the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the Pacquiao fight?
Well,
we're going to wait and see.
Well, I'm going to be working on the card. I mean,
You're going to be
I'm going to be working, yeah.
my guy,
You know,
man.
because
My man.
I don't call it work. I call it having fun.
Right.
Because when it comes to anything with boxing, to me that's not work. I mean, to me that I enjoy it so much. I love being there and being with the other officials, my colleagues. I like to watch them perform because when I watch my colleagues perform, I kind of like talk with them afterwards and see if they did something wrong, we can work on it. And not that they can't be 100% all the time.
No.
But if they make a little minor mistake, we correct it. We fine tune it to get it better for the next time.
And that's what the veteran officials should be doing. You know, they should be taking, the younger officials under their wings a little bit, or like you said, if they see something they can do better or something they might need to work on. When I get a veteran official coming to me and say, hey, Jason, don't do that, or hey, we don't do that, or, let's clean this up a little bit, I listen to them. I worked an event about a month ago in San Diego. It was their event. We had two 3-star AIBA officials. So how the reffing chain of command works is you have a level 1 USA boxing official. You have a level 2. After 2 years, you test. You go to level 2. That's what I am. And then another 2 years, I test in 9 months for level 3. And then from there, you can go to AIBA 1-star, AIBA 2-star, AIBA 3-star. So we had two 3-star AIBA officials at this little event in San Diego. And I told them they were going to do it anyways, but I told them, hey, when I get in there, you let me know what you think.
Good.
And they let me know what they thought.
Well, we all need a little bit of help, not only in boxing, but in life itself. Sometimes we do things in life that we have to be corrected with. Sometimes we don't even know. We make mistakes. It's human. Sometimes we make human errors, and we see that in all walks of life. But you folks out there, don't be ashamed sometimes to admit that you made a mistake. If you make a mistake, that makes you even tougher and stronger, because when you commit to something, you have to make yourself, you got to live up to it. You just can't say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make a promise, I'm going to do this, I'm committed to this, and then they say, you don't do it. You say, what the hell is wrong with you? I say, I look at some of these young referees or some of these young folks out there, what the hell are they doing? They got to get on with their life, do it, especially in private life. Referees, I tell you, they're pretty well disciplined, they're doing the right thing, but people, I see young folks out there, that's why I'm always trying to reach out wherever I can to get these young folks to understand, because I've been around the block many times, so I want them to learn this is the way it's done. And if you don't do it that way, then you're going to end up in trouble. That's why so many kids are going to jail. And I don't like what's going on right now in this country, where a lot of these young folks, they can walk into a department store, they grab a bunch of clothes, they walk out the door, not even run, they walk out the door, because they know they're not going to get arrested. What's going on with this country? We've got to get you politicians out there. If you watch it, you better do something about it. Otherwise, you're going to you're going to lose by a knockout, because I'm going to go after you guys. We're tired of seeing all this nonsense going on in this country. We want to see things improve because we got youngsters out there, we got children, we got grandchildren. We want to make sure that we get them all on the right track, the proper way.
Well, and with that leading into that, I mean, that goes for any general aspect part of life. I mean, we can all do better. Us parents or aunts or uncles got to spend some time with the kids to teach them and let them know what's right and wrong. And, you know, not to bring it back to boxing, but that's why amateur boxing is so important. Same thing with Pop Warner football and baseball and gymnastics and dance and taekwondo or whatever you want to put your children in, but it goes back to amateur boxing. You know, at the end of the day, I'm so passionate about amateur boxing is because I'm helping the kids.
Right.
I'm helping the young people. I'm helping the community, the coaches and the club owners. And for us to be successful, we have to have all these different programs. And we need to have platforms like this where we can reach out to everybody and spread the word of what's going on to make it easier for you if you want to come into amateur boxing as a coach, as an official, or you want to bring your daughter or son in amateur boxing. And that's what we're here for, to pass on this information to you guys so we can just get better.
Well, guys, you know, with that said, we're going to cut off the show right now because today is a nice Saturday, and we're going to put the show on, and we'll have to put on the show as often as possible. We'll try to at least do a show once a week. It's not only going to be boxing. I want to try to bring other guests on the show to talk about other things, other talks in the world. I mean, there's so much going around this world. So much we can help share. I bring some experts on board on the show as a co-host like yourself and give you that information that's needed so much just to get people on the right track. With that said, guys, my co-host is Jason Vincent, Joe Cortez. I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch them up. Take care. God bless.
See you at the fights.
Bye. Talk to you guys later.